Movento, two-way systemic pest control, putting an end to hide and seek. What is systemicity? So far, when we talk about systemicity of insecticides, we mean the uptake, the transport and distribution of the active ingredient by the plant itself. For example, from treated to untreated parts of the leaf. But up to now, that transport has just been possible in one direction and inside the leaf, from upper side to underside, or from the bottom of the leaf to the top, because the xylem is responsible for that direction of transport in the leaf. The roots take up water and nutrients, which are translocated to the leaves. This transport is driven by the transpiration of water through the stomata. So, a continuous flow takes place from below to the top, and systemic transport of active ingredients has so far only been possible in that direction. What is two-way systemicity? Besides the xylem, there is another system of transport in the plant, the phloem. The energy which is converted in the leaves during photosynthesis is transported as sucrose through this system, towards the energy sinks of the plant, towards the young shoots, leaves, buds and fruits, and towards the developing roots. So we have a transport system that works in two directions, upwards from leaf to leaf, and downwards from the leaf to the roots. And Movento uses that system as top of its class. That's unique in the insecticide world. From leaf to leaf. To prove the phloem transport from leaf to leaf, we have prepared young cabbage plants before the treatment with Movento, in such a way that only one mature leaf, the oldest one, can take up the active ingredient. After treatment, the plants get infested with aphids. And the results are quite clear. Untreated plants are the victims of aphids. Meanwhile, the Movento plants grow strongly. Not only the single treated leaf, but also all other leaves are pest-free. If you carry out the same trial with infested plants, in other words, not a protective but a curative scenario, the results are the same. The untreated plants become the victims of the pest, and the treated plants? The transport from leaf to leaf works. Even the aphids on the untreated upper leaves get controlled. Look at the mortality of aphids on the untreated leaves. In this dose-response trial, Movento shows even at the lowest rates the translocation from leaf to leaf, and so sweeping success. Current systemic market standard, no matter which concentration you test, it doesn't show any control in this trial setup. These autoradiographs of the active ingredient in the plant back up the observations. The treated leaf, the untreated leaf, and even the new developing leaf. All of them are protected by Movento. From leaf to leaf. The first trial demonstrated the transport from an older leaf to a younger one. The question is, does it work in the opposite direction too? To prove that, we wrapped a cabbage plant and just treated a younger leaf. And now we check the direction towards the older leaf underneath. Because aphids prefer young, lush leaves, we have to fix the aphids on the old leaf with this aphid cage, so we can be sure that the aphids stay on the old, untreated leaf. The result? Nearly no effect. There seems to be no transport from the younger to the older leaf. Why not? When we look at the function of the phloem as transport system, the explanation is obvious. Fully developed leaves no longer grow. They just supply sucrose to the phloem, thus being the sources of energy. However, the young leaves and shoots are intensively growing and need lots of sucrose, thus being the sinks of energy. Consequently, that means in practice, as in the past, to protect mature leaves, we rely on a uniform spray coverage as with all foliar applications. But now, with the two-way systemicity of Movento, the sensitive growing leaves are protected long-term by foliar application. An example, especially in all head-building vegetables or lettuce, the young leaves can't be reached by the spray. And that's where the pests are hiding and difficult to control. With Movento, the good old days for pests are ending. Movento is taken up via the treated outer leaves and works very efficiently on the inner leaves. That's the end of hide and seek. Trials in the field show impressive effects. From the leaf to the root. The phloem transports sucrose from the supplier to the consumer, from the sources to the sinks. That means towards the roots too. Movento moves up to the growing tips of the roots and works there. Especially when the soil in the field is covered by the leaves and a direct spray on the soil is not possible, root aphids on carrots, lettuce or chicory are difficult to control. But now, Movento allows, by spraying of the leaves, pest control on the roots. A really new, simple and effective method for the farmer. In our field trials, you can see these effects. Whether for the protection of sensitive growing leaves or roots, or the control of hidden pests, Movento acts in two ways very effectively. Thanks to its unique phloem mobility and high intrinsic efficacy, Movento performs excellently against difficult-to-control sucking pests, no matter whether woolly apple aphids or scales. Our field trials in apple show the proof. Movento, two-way systemic pest control, putting an end to hide and seek.